We back with another episode. I'm Jaden, aka Mr. Talk Spicy. I got my bro with me again, Mr. Cha-Ching.
House of Hoops Full and Built by the Game podcast, episode 6. Y'all already know who y'all vibing with today. Tune in, we back for another episode, and this one is real special because it's the Dyckman vibe today. What's your good experiences at Dyckman? I know we got tons of them. I already know what it is, but let the people know what some of your dope experiences, and I share a couple of my stories, and then because when the guests come on today, so
yeah, a couple, because as a player, I won high school division, 10th Ave, and then as an announcer, it's a lot. But my favorite one is you took a trip, and I told everybody I would never, ever, ever do a game in Dyckman, because that's your part. But you told me, you said, bro, hold it down for me. I got to go do this trip. I held it down. Pop Smoke popped out. And I was like, special right there. So it was like, you basically blessed me right there, gave me an opportunity to do something fun. And then your first time ever in Dyckman, I was right there with you. Because, the Splash Bowl is never too far apart. So that's like a special moment right there, watching you take over that park. The One Train watching, Spicy watching, Cha-Ching on the mic. And the first night, you knew you had it because Lance Stevenson came in the park and said, I'm going to chill. But then your energy just got him so fired up. He said, nah, I need some sneakers. Lance tried to suit up, Yada games going off. It was a great night. That was like my dope experience. I ain't gonna lie. Winning the chip, Pop Smoke, and then your first time taking over that park.
Yada Lance matchup kind of probably started making us trend more because that matchup was like real big, man. It was probably like over 1,500 people in the park. So I always gonna say that's definitely one of my favorite moments. And just the whole New York versus New York experience, every time it made that stop at Dyckman, it was like a home game for me. Just to divide with all the fans, all the different nationalities up there, the Patalito people, all the people that's cooking out. Every basketball player that came across through there from high school to the pros, like one of my favorite moments is I had Derrick Jones came, right? So Derrick Jones pull up. This when Derrick Jones was in 11th grade. Derrick Jones pull up. He coming from a Villanova visit. His father asked, like, yo, I want to hoop. My son want my son to hoop. I'm like, who your son? He like, oh, Derrick Jones. I'm like, oh, that's my man. Bring him in the park. And, just to have those type of players come suit up, and now that you see them now, they're in the second round of the playoffs, stuff like that. We seeing Donovan Mitchell and them in the playoffs. Like, that's just big for what I experienced up at Dyckman. And, there's always thousands of stories that Kenny and them could tell you. But, that's just some of my dope experiences, man. And working with you, man, like we actually created something dope with the Splash Bros, man. And just to come to Dyckman, man, is like one of the biggest tournaments in the country. Just to come in there and shake it up every night, that joint is super dope. So, just seeing the players, seeing the fans, seeing the coaches, the parents, the kids come out, man, that's just the vibe for me every time I get to Dyckman. So,
and that's the best part about it, because even in New York versus New York, you see the vibe don't switch up. Like, once they know you doing the game, they there. The support is crazy. First year, people might not remember, the chip game was in Dyckman Park. A Boogie popped out. So that's when, it was just hot. So it's like, Dyckman really got it. Kyrie, the SpongeBob's release. It's like every year is something special. Trey Young, Mo Bump. You just never know. That's why they call it the red carpet stream of who gonna pop out.
The culture of basketball is that New York versus New York platform. 12 kids on each roster, 2-3 coaches. You got an assistant helping out. I don't like to forget nobody, but Dyckman did a lot of good things, man. It's a party every time. You never know. Rest in peace, Pop Smoke pulled up. That was his first time ever popping up to a basketball event other than his own park in Canarsie. Meek Mills is always a supporter. He come on Prom Thursdays a lot. We could run names down.
D'Angelo Russell, the buzzer beater. He's having a rough night that night too. And then you got him right. I ain't gonna lie. He's having a rough night. Cairo and them was going at him. He was having a rough night. You talking about the NBA playoffs. You got Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Chris McCullough, I'm always keeping New York. Isaiah Whitehead, I'm always keeping New York. And then the man you got into Elite 24, that's how you know Dyckman is a great platform, because he didn't get the phone call right away. And then he just had a 40 ball. And you just came up with blame the committee. And I guess the committee got tired of hearing blame the committee. They made the phone call that same night. And then he go out and go win MVP. Isaiah Washington, you know, the Jellyfin movement was so special at that time. And you say that Dyckman is a platform, and that platform right there built it up. That summer really took it off. Like you said, it's always a movie.
Definitely got to shout out Floyd Mayweather. You know, that's when TMT Showstoppers, my man Bo and them, they was really rocking at that time. They was like, they won probably like 5-6 straight, and you know, it's hard to get a billionaire into the park. Shout out to the TMT family. They was able to get to the chip, get it done. Kenny allowing us to, you know, do different things in that park. Sharon Barnes with the women's basketball. They got the girls league. You know, our plans is to go in there, help them a little bit next year to get them some spotlight games because the women need it. But you know, Dyckman just got like countless of memories. Like
I'm gonna say twin, cause his passion is like Skull Gang Records. You know when they playing, it's passion. He go out there with what he got, the Uber app. And if he need to call a pro, because everybody calling a pro, you're going to get Cal Anderson in that park, Loyal, John James with the game been missing. And then Deuce Dutch, 10th Ave, because I was part of the first ever 10th Ave team, so I can never forget that. We started 1600, we lost every game. Until the last game of the season, we lost every single one. Then we finally got one win, and then after that, we took off the next year. We moved up to 19 under. Then we went again 19 under, went to the chip. We won it all, and it felt good. So I got to shout those two coaches out, because those are the two that I see like putting that pain and work from day one. Because New York versus New York ain't no joke. All I get said it. They all want to win it. And these two first year in from the PSA Cardinals, head coach Joe Brown, and from the life you want to live, Ab Life, the club open tonight. Tuck, what up, y'all?
So how was the first 3 summers for you and Dyckman as a coach?
I mean, the first 3 summers, it was good. We was competing, and that's why I stopped playing. Like, it was just, we was done with just competing. We wanted to win, so I knew we had to bring the team to another level. So I slid over to the coaching job and got a few better players. And then year 3, we won the championship, and like that's what it was all for. Like, so it felt great.
Both of y'all came from coaching in high school division. So it's like, when y'all got that phone call, like y'all got chosen to coach on the staff this year for Team Dyckman, knowing the history behind Team Dyckman, making it to the chip 2 years in a row, what was both of y'all mindset once y'all got that call?
I mean, it was an honor and a blessing. You know, watching New York for 2 years in a row and everything, I'm like, dang, Dyckman needs to get over the top. So, you know, when I got the phone call and he was like, you're going to be working with Kenny and Tuck, I was like, oh, let's go. And, you know, from day one, we had the same mindset, like, we here to win the championship. Like, we're not going here to year 3 just to be here. Like, we want to embrace the moment, but we actually want to win, you know, and we handpicked the kids and everything. You know, Kenny let us do what we had to do. He basically said, hey, listen, I'm going to let y'all run it. You know, y'all get the kids and everything, and I support y'all. So, you know, we sat down, we had like a board, and we said, oh, these are the kids we're going to target. These are the kids that we want, and it worked in our favor.
Kenny called me, and it was like, me and him had spoke about it before. Then we stopped talking about it. So then I guess they called him like, yo, we need Tuck. And he was like, oh, it's a done deal. He called me, and it was a done deal. And from then, I'm like, when I'm coaching, I know we got to get to the chip. With this, Dyckman got to the chip 2 years in a row. They ain't win. So us getting a new coaching staff and getting to the chip and not winning, it wouldn't have been nothing special. So we know we had to give Dyckman their first championship.
You started with Harlem Children's Zone. Like the first couple years was real rocky. You think that was because you didn't have the talent you needed, or you were just going by what your partner was using some of the Harlem Children's Zone kids that go in and out the program?
I had to get a feel of like how like to win at Dyckman, because like everybody want to play. And then, I sat down and talked to, Coach Lawrence and said, listen, like, I got kids that can actually compete at this level that want to play. So, we had to turn from him using his high school kids to us using like AAU kids that can actually play at that level.
Joe Brown, a lot of people won't know, like, Todd Jerome, now NCAA champ, you brought him outside, and then you got Tuck, he got Khalil Brantley, the Dayton commit Malley. Like, y'all bring a lot of talent to the table. So, with y'all coaches and y'all relationship with the players, did y'all feel like it was so easy to translate to New York versus New York, seeing the past history about the teams that was built?
When I watched Dyckman 82 years, I felt like there was one piece away. And this year, it was the same thing. And then I felt like we just needed that one piece. And I felt like that one piece was Rams. And once we got Rams on board with the rest of the young kids, I knew from day one, at the end of the day, we was going to win the chip. From day one, I knew. Once we got that, with Malley, Khalil, Tutu, and the rest of the crew, we was going to win the chip.
That 10-man roster, they might be all Division I players, if I'm correct, even including Dallas. So they might all be like just putting those. I know you said y'all had the bulletin board, it's probably over 50, 60 names on there, but how y'all narrowed it down to 10?
We was kind of building off players' character and who could play together. Who's not going to be worrying about playing time. Like, we just built it for who going to be happy from the first guy to the last guy on the bench. Like, who going to be happy with just us winning. Like, that's how it was built.
Joe Brown coming over from the AAU side, PSA Cardinals, you see you repping them. Then coming to the street ball side, how did you feel like your coaching from AAU to street ball would translate over? How did y'all feel y'all X's and O's separated y'all from a lot of other teams?
From coaching high school basketball, coaching high-level AAU basketball, same thing with Coach Rose and, Tuck, have a good basketball mind. We just put it all together and, there was no egos at the door. We checked our egos basically at the door from day one, and we told each other the ultimate goal. Coming from AAU over to street ball wasn't that hard because a lot of those kids that play street ball play AAU. So I knew who was who and everything. And, I had a couple of kids that I wanted to like introduce to like street ball so they could get that toughness because, back in the day, you got your name from playing street ball. So like, for example, I use Big Mac as an example. I told Big Mac when he's a freshman, like, listen, we're going to come outside. Everybody going to look at you like, hey, who's this big kid who can't run, jump at the same time? But I told him, like, listen, just build the confidence, build it. And, year 3, he was a big piece of us winning NY versus NY. Because I'll be honest, Mac held his own against Moose out there.
What was the mindset going into this chip game at Rucker Park? Like, we here, let's make a statement and let's leave out the champs. What was the vibe like going into that day?
It was regular until we won the championship. And after we won the championship, then we felt like we did something successful.
Y'all structured, so y'all had a game plan, Joe. So what was your mindset coming in to that chip?
If we don't win, it's a bust, straight up. So I went from literally being that person waiting in line to try to get in to watch the game to actually, coaching in the game was like, it was an honor and a blessing. Like, I was really lost for words. And when we got on the court, I'm like, dang, like, we're really here. So, like, I just use, my positive energy to the kids and tell them, like, listen, we here. Like, let's leave it all on the floor. Like, there's no tomorrow. Like, we're here to win the championship.
Y'all played a tough schedule in New York versus New York. What was the hardest? Because, like, some of the big moments I see on social media with you and Tuck, y'all in the timeouts. You don't really hear Rose. Rose letting y'all do talking to the players, and you giving Rams one game some crazy instructions. I think y'all was down in that game, if I'm correct, versus the champs, the defending champs. How you approach those last 3 minutes of the game? I know y'all was down, so what was your mindset going into those last 3 minutes, knowing that you need to get stops after stops, and your message was getting through to them players?
one thing I try to do with street ball is, coach the kids like I'm coaching them if they get their high school coach. You understand? So they don't pick up bad habits. So, I know Rams is a leader, right? And I also know Rams was going off to school. So, I had to tell Rams, like, listen, like, you're the man of this team. Everybody's following your lead, right? You're leading positive to everybody. So we're going the same way you go, right? So if you buy into playing defense and getting these 3 stops and take on this challenge regarding Kadari, and we'll win the game. And he took that as motivation, and he went out there and as a team they got 3 stops in a row. I'm fine saying, if you get 3 stops, it's going to force the other coach to call a timeout. We got 3 stops, we got 3 baskets, and what happened? The coach called a timeout. Like, that's the mindset we had to tell them. Like, we have to win this game like it's 8-on-5. So don't worry about the refs, because we're in Brooklyn. So they don't really want us to win. Like, they don't want us to play in Rucker Park that Saturday. So, that mindset of playing 8-on-5, helped at the end of the game, because they wasn't worried about foul calls. They was worried about finishing the play and not turning the ball over.
What was your mindset before all that, knowing like, all right, well, we don't got them to go. We don't got them in the chip, but we got them to go to the chip. Like, when y'all woke up that day and knew that was your matchup, what was because y'all got Rams already, and like, that's an elite talent by itself. So it was just a younger core I felt like needed to get the motivation up, because a lot of them made a name for themselves. Mally stepped up to the plate. Khalil Brantley, before he stepped over the boys high, he stepped up that game. Like, I felt like y'all 3 core players right there, and then DeMarco, he from Brooklyn, playing against Brooklyn. Like, what was y'all mindset going into that game?
At the beginning of the season, I just looked at the past 2 years. I thought it would be us and Gersh in the chip. So then it was a surprise that they wasn't the number 1 seed on their side. So now it's like, all right, we got to make it to the chip. We got to go through them. Like, so then... And then we had Tutu, DeMarco, and Rams. Those was our 3 leaders. Mally and Khalil, they stepped up and they showed that we belong here. But DeMarco, Tutu, they brought all the toughness. Like those are tough players. Like, it wasn't 8 against 5. It was a whole borough of Brooklyn against Dyckman. Like, it went down to Femi having to miss 2 free throws for us to win the game. When that call got made, I thought it was over. I was like, I know the ref ain't just do this. Not a Dyckman and Gersh game. If it would have ended like that, it wouldn't have been. That wouldn't have been a classic Dyckman Gersh game. Like, to have the ref decide the game. Like, it wasn't even a New York versus New York championship no more. It was more so like Dyckman beat Gersh. Somebody beat Gersh, got them out the tournament. And then after that, we felt like the championship was ours.
Through all this pandemic and all this what we missing right now, I really think y'all should crack to try to repeat, because nobody's champions this year. I mean, everybody's champions this year because everybody's healthy. They still living. They still taking care of their family in some way. But I really think y'all should come back as a 3, well, whether somebody stepped down or don't want to coach no more, but I think y'all owe it to New York versus New York platform to come back and repeat, because now just say y'all go somewhere else and y'all don't win no games, or y'all don't really fare well in the New York versus New York setting. Then it's like, we ain't even give ourselves chance to win back to back. Y'all could start a dynasty. I know y'all on the small talks about it, but when January come around, y'all really start getting locked in. Is y'all gonna start like preparing y'all meetings without the New York versus New York systems, like getting on the call by yourself, figuring out what y'all like to do, or how y'all gonna pick y'all players?
We've been picking out players ever since we won the championship last year. There's a few players that we knew that we would lose, and we've been filling in those slots. So this year was going to be scary, and we champions until somebody take that crown.
COVID saved a lot of people. I'm going to just leave it like that. Because, like he said those 3-headed monsters, right? Just know that we was going to repeat. Point blank, period. We was going to repeat.
I knew y'all wasn't going to stay humble for too long. That's why y'all built by the game, because I knew it was going to happen sooner or later. Like, y'all the champs until somebody knock y'all off. and y'all did it y'all first year in. That's tough. First year on the sideline, the hardest tournament in the city. Cause I like when I started the segment, I told y'all ain't win it yet. Like I don't know how y'all get picked to coach, and y'all didn't win their chip yet. But y'all go win New York versus New York, y'all first time doing it. So I give it to you. Y'all really built by the game, cause that's tough right there. Stepping into the hardest tournament, everybody want to win it. Y'all know every team went and revamped, got new coaches. With Shy 3.
Yeah, we want to give a special shout out to Coach Rose. He couldn't be here with us right now. Congratulations on his new wedding and all. So, shout out to New York versus New York. Shout out Dyckman. Shout out Kenny Stevens. And all our fans and everybody. Shout out the whole PSA, the whole Av Life. They always in the building. And Cha-Ching and Spicy, y'all always make the games interesting.
PSA Cardinals, Joe Brown, Av Life, Tuck, Built by the Game segment, Dyckman Champs, 2019, NY versus NY, Rucker Park. They did that. And you know what they said? 2021, they will be back. And just like that, we signed them off.
Appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all could continue doing good work out here in this community, man.
And we can't have an episode without doing the Hot Drop Report.
Caliente! What's going on, Beck? What's going on? How's everything?
Caliente here with the Hot Drop Report. We got something special. Zoom Freak 2. Great shoe. Coming from the Defensive Player of the Year, Giannis Antetokounmpo. So this shoe is inspired by his journey. Giannis used to take a 4-mile trip all the way from his house to his practice facility, work on his game, get his game tailored for the NBA so he could kill how he's killing now. And that's what the cement is about. It's about that trip, that journey. You get that cement in there. So I feel like this is a dope shoe for New York because we kind of got the same journey, not 4 miles. It's a little crazy. We got the train. But we woke on that cement all day. And I also like kind of that old, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but the little Jordan inspirations with the black and red and giving me a good vibe of those threes. So that's fire. Which I think is the Hot Drop Report on these. We're going to go temperature check.
75.
It was like 83.
83 is crazy. I'm going to go 85. This guy's selfish. I'm going to go 85. I'm a huge fan of the Zoom Freak 1. I like the traction. I like just overall fit. These are coming to a Foot Locker or House Hoops near you. Look out for these. Fire. Go cop out. 85 from Caliente. Hot Drop Report. Purge.
Episode 6. Dyckman Basketball. Uptown. One trainer's watching.
We built by the red carpet of street ball. And like I guess said earlier, they the champs until somebody knocked them off. Cha-ching!